Alright, this one is Bavat's Legacy Part 2, which I never published because, quite frankly, I got started working on it, and I would estimate that the mission is maybe kind of like 5% actually complete. Anyways, so, what's the story? Obviously, I didn't type that up. Anyway, Bavat's Legacy Part 1 has you go back in time because a renegade Klingon has used a time machine to attempt to subjugate the Romulan Star Empire in the past. So you go back in time with some rather interesting time travel shenanigans because you can't just, intercept him using time travel because, he somehow acquired a temporal shield device that prevents other people from time traveling to the era in which he exists. So you have to use a different form of time travel shenanigans to destroy his device and basically erase his temporal shield device from history. So, his plan was, of course, to create an army of augments. Story here, again, I didn't actually type it out. I at least put that part in. Alright, so the maps are actually rather simple for this one because I hadn't actually finished any of them. Most of the things you see on the list are just things I was looking at because I was trying to decide if I wanted to use them. This one, however, note the lava. I actually carpeted or placed foundation blocks to hide the lava when you actually go there. So all you have is this heat waves effect, and you don't see the lava everywhere. Among other reasons, because in the Foundry version, you can't actually take damage from falling in the lava anyways. Oh well. Anyway, so for this map, what you would do is, enter the map, fight your way through a few mobs, and eventually get to the bottom where you proceed to the next step. Along the way, I would have probably put in a bunch of things to look at and interact with. And, oh yeah, I had the spawn point set to the end for testing purposes, I think. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, those who have done the KDF missions involving the Fek'Liri will recognize this as the shrine where they keep this stupid sword. Normally, oh right, that's right, there's a Fek'Liri sitting on the throne, and they have the sword by their feet because they're gloating that they have it and you don't. So you have to kill them, and then Kales takes the sword back. Let's see here. Delta recruit objective. There's an Iconian piece of junk sitting over here, which everyone will see, but only Delta recruits can interact with, if I remember right. Anyway, so that was just a temporary thing because you were supposed to interact with a MacGuffin or something to get out of here. Yeah, so that's that. All right, next up is. If I remember right, the plan I had with this one was that you find out that his because of his temporal shield device, you're not able to go back to the point in time when he arrived, and you end up several years later. So him and his cohorts have had time to build a rather extensive tunnel system in this mountain, and to actually destroy the temporal shield device, you need to get pretty deep inside the mountain on foot. which of course means phasering a bunch of guys in the face. One interesting thing with this map is that the 0-point bug does a different thing on this map than on most, because on this map the 0-point bug sends people to this room and not the actual 0 point. Anyway, so the plan for this one is, of course, you come in on the top floor, you go down because you have to. One thing I was working with was the idea that you can't just like go straight to where he is. You have to, well, he has several different sets of tunnels, and you have to figure out which one is lightly guarded enough for you to be able to fight your way through it, and not locked with some sort of bulkhead you can't just phaser your way through, that sort of thing. So I would have probably decorated the map with a bunch of locked doors as a way of saying, yeah, you can't go that way, sorry. Because this particular map was actually from one of the Cardassian struggle episodes, and the basic plot was, beam in at the top, work your way to the bottom, while shooting a whole bunch of, I think, Terrans. It was Terrans. The interesting thing about this one is that while the interior is kind of vaguely like Cardassian stuff, this actual decor style is a non-faction interior, which, kind of cool. Also, it's with like the only one where we have like such vertical tunneling. Anyways, though. Alright, on to the next one. Now, I never built the final map, because the idea I had was I kind of sort of wanted it to be like, Jagor's headquarters. Well, also, this current one would have been like map 3 out of 6, I think. This one would have been more of a puzzly thing, but instead of a shoot a whole bunch of guys, because the idea here is that it's literally a maze. What you need to do is make your way through a complex series of passageways in order to figure out which way is, the one that actually goes to where you need to go. Reset. Anyways, as you can see, I built this map on the Borath barge interior. That gap would probably have been fixed in the finished version. Probably. Yeah, who knows? I'll probably just like stick a door frame up there or something. There's triage. I should put triage in here somewhere. Whatever. Anyway, so, one of the things I did just to annoy people is set the map ceiling so that the map ceiling actually hides the walls. So you have to actually navigate the maze manually, and you can't just like look at the mini map and be like, oh, that goes... Why is this door not opening? This door's supposed to open. Oh, a lag spike. The door didn't open because the game hadn't realized I hadn't walked over to it yet. Well, that sucks. Yeah, that's a good way to identify lag spikes. Are my bridge officers actually following me around? If the answer is no, you might have a problem. Anyway, though, alright, through the door. The idea I had was basically, dozens of hallways, multiple doors. Which one leads to the exit? I never actually finished building the map, though, so... Yeah, it looks like I only made like a small part of it. Anyway, eventually you would get to an exit. I used the Borath Barge map because of this, the fact that it has all of this pink goop for you to wade through. The actual default level of the pink goop is like head height. See, I added a platform to set the height so that it's about waist height instead of being above your head. This here is like supposed to be like the river bed on the Klingon River of Blood or what have you. And the mission you wouldn't, that this map was derived from, you can't actually even go there at all. Alrighty then, so plot after this, I will endeavor to sum up as quickly as possible. Okay, so first one is that you go through this to bypass several of his guard stations because, you know, it's just you and your bridge officers. Fighting an entire army of augments would be a bit much. You don't actually confront Jagor in person on map 4. You like insult him over the comm signal or something, but you don't actually meet him face to face. Instead, what you do is with this. Okay, you got a device to use to destroy his temporal shield. Well, you plant the device and then use that to create an opportunity to time travel even further into the past so that you can see or you can intercept him when he actually arrives in the past, thus preventing him from causing all of the trouble on that Romulan colony world that you had to deal with in part 1 of the mission. Wow, this map, ew, that's just a void. Anyway, so that's when you have the boss fight. Is that you fight Jagor and his you know, top bodyguards, and then, you know, time cops show up to take him away and confiscate all of his fancy temporal technology. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, hello. This is a neat volume effect. I guess this doesn't affect the entire map, just the part of the map that the devs were expecting players to use. I guess it was like a testing thing I built. Anyways, though, well, I guess that's it for this demonstration. See you guys next time.